Hello, 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 YouTube. How are you guys doing today? Welcome back. New week, new episode, Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony. So glad to see you guys today, or at least have this conversation with you guys today. So glad to be back. I had a great weekend. I hope you all did the same. And here on Real Talk Therapy, if you're new, we're simply having real talk conversations about our mental health, strengthening those mental things that are going on in our mind, getting ourselves to places where we can roll through our uncharted waters or navigate through them, as you'll hear me say a lot, and learn how to move forward in life so that we aren't stuck in those things that mentally keep us from getting where we need to get. And this week, as promised, we are going to actually delve into what self-care means. And so in order to know what self-care is for you, you got to know yourself. Hence today's t-shirt. So for those of you that are new, we do a themed shirt every day, or at least we try to, related to what we have going on. I also make these shirts, so that information, like I told you guys and promised you, things will be coming down the pipe pretty soon. But today's shirt says, "To thy own self be true, ... And self is big. In Real Talk Therapy 101, of course, up under that. In addition to our shirt, we do have, we feature a bag of the day and shoes of the day. And so for today, you guys have seen this little number before. It's my all white city tote, kind of off white, pearly white. And the shoes for today, I've been trying to kind of figure out how to do this without trying to lift it up. But my shoes for today are the Air Force Ones, with a little pink, shade of pink in there. As you get to know me, you'll learn different things about me. I've become a sneakerhead in my day. Now, when it get cold, you guys, I will be wearing boots and different things like that. But for right now, we on chill mode. And today we're gonna talk a lot in depth about what it means to be true to you. So in order to be true to you, sometimes, remember last week we went back to basics. Sometimes we got to go back and figure out how we got from one stage in life to another. And we have to be able to learn how to adjust to and adapt to what we're feeling. Because if we continue to sweep our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions up under the rug to accommodate others, you're going to lose yourself and you're never going to know who you are. Hence, making it hard for you to be true to yourself. So this week, we're going to use some movies. We're going to use some songs. We're going to do some things to bring more strategies to you so you can be more self-aware of who you are, so you can know what it is that you need and how to eventually start developing your activities for self-care. So right off the gate, I can tell you I love to travel. And not only do I love to travel, I like to go places that I hadn't been before to learn things about different places. I enjoy gambling, going to casinos. That's a pastime for me. I enjoy meeting new people. I love spending time with my family. I love spending time with loved ones. But another part of my self-care regimen is I like to be out here in my house on my, my little homestead, enjoying my house, enjoying my husband, enjoying the quiet. There's different things that I've learned about myself that I truly, truly enjoy, because in having real talk conversations for work all day, I usually get home and, my husband and I, we converse all throughout the day, but I usually get home and I just want to right now I'm into what I call ratchet TV. It's not really ratchet because I'm learning some stuff. as I go back and watch it, but I'm just looking at the Love and Hip Hop series and watching how, you know, fame and the addiction to status kind of drives the decisions of different people, and what makes us do the things that we do. And I'm enjoying watching it. And so, you know, some things just don't make sense to me. But remember, they're not supposed to, because those are their, you know, those things are their journey, what they did and what they edited to make it to be good TV. But today, looking at the cliche of to thine own self be true, wanted to kind of review the Emoji Movie. Now, if you haven't seen the Emoji Movie, and a lot of you who don't have kids, you may not have seen, you know, some of these movies if you don't have younger kids. But I have little nieces, nephews, grandnieces, my grandbaby, you know, so of course I'm looking at cartoons when they're over, and I'm learning to you know, do what they like to do. But I tell you guys, a lot of these cartoons and a lot of these movies, that I just think the animation is for the kids and the messages for the adults that are taking the kids. And so in the Emoji Movie, by now, everybody that comes on this channel should know what emojis are. And those are those cute little pictures that we use when we're texting. And I know a lot of people actually text in emojis. And a lot of times I have to go back and be like, what does this mean? The same thing with those acronyms. You know, I had to be like, what does this mean? And if you are a Modern Family watcher, the TV series Modern Family, you know, Phil Dunphy used to say WTF, but his WTF meant wire the face. And we know WTF can mean a lot of different things. But if I don't know, I've always been the one to ask questions. I told you guys I'm naturally nosy, so I want to know. So when you send me all these different emojis, if I can't guess what it means by looking at it, I'm either Google it or I'm going to text you back and be like, what does this mean? And so the Emoji Movie takes place in a city that they call Texopolis, and all of the emojis live there. And when it's coming on, you know, the narrator is telling you about all these different emojis. And at some point in their lives, they get to sit in the queue, which is what we all know, especially if you have an iPhone. Your queue is where the emojis are that you use the most. And so in this movie, all of these emojis are waiting on their debut to be in this queue to communicate with someone else, and their owner is a little boy who's in adolescence type stage, and he's going through puberty. He's going through those changes that we were talking about last year, and he likes a girl, but he doesn't quite know how to express his feelings to the girl. His friends are no help. Little girl obviously likes him, but in the midst of it, he wants to be able to use his emojis, and then something happens to his phone, guys, that sends him into what we call, in the behavioral health and mental health world, crisis mode. So I don't know about you all. A couple of months ago, we all went through this thing where our phones just stopped working and you had SOS and, you know, it went into airplane mode on its own. My phone still does that to this day. So we're going to be looking to upgrade soon. But at any rate, I could be talking on the phone and all of a sudden the call is dropped. My phone goes into SOS mode. I can't dial out. I can't do anything but call 911. And when it first started happening, it did send me into crisis mode because I cannot communicate. I'm accustomed to communicating. And now my phone is in this state where I can't. So with this little boy, his phone is messing up. He needs to get it fixed. You know, his parents, it's not a priority. But the emojis are working overtime to try to override or you've heard of jailbreak, where you would jailbreak your phone. We knew a guy when we first started doing our iPhones that used to get us backgrounds and different things. He knew how to go beyond what Apple did and jailbreak it. And like my phone would have a Hello Kitty theme or a Betty Boop theme or whatever thing, Mickey Mouse, that he could do. And now our phones can do all of that stuff. But this was early on the iPhone. So mind you, I know my husband has had every iPhone since the beginning of iPhones. I think I got on board maybe 2 years later because I was a Sprint person and I wasn't quite ready to convert to AT&T or Singular or whatever it was at that time to get an iPhone. But at this day and age, iPhones are one of the most popular phones out there. And so in Texopolis, the main character is the emoji that's called, his name is Gene in the movie, but he's the emoji that's like meh, you know, MEH is where his what's spelled, his face, his mouth is kind of slanted, and it's kind of a whatever type mood. And in this movie, the emojis are only supposed to do whatever, or are only supposed to feel whatever emotion is assigned to them for their emoji, you know, for the phone. So the Christmas tree is standing on the corner and G's walking through. He's like, Christmas tree, it ain't your time yet. You know, the crying emoji is coming out of a store with a lottery ticket in his hand, and he's just won the lottery, but he can't even be happy because his emotion is to cry. So he's crying, walking around like, I'm a winner, I'm a winner. And, you know, the happy face girl, all she can do is be happy, even in the midst of turmoil. And so you kind of get the gist. The dancing girl, one of my favorite emojis with the red dress, she's dancing. No matter what she's talking about, all she can do is dance in this movie. But Gene happens to be a special emoji, because even though he was born to the meh family and he's supposed to just kind of be nonchalant and like whatever to whatever, he feels all kinds of emotions. And when he shows them in Texopolis, it's frowned upon because you can't be anything other than who you were created to be. Now, I don't want you guys to miss that. In this movie, each emoji represents its own emotion. But there's one emoji that feels everything. And in Texopolis, that's against the rules. But in the world we live in, we're created to feel all types of emotions. Okay? I struggled with wanting to be happy all the time and wanting everybody around me to be okay and wanting everything to just go smooth, instead of realizing that there are some days where I got to operate in complete chaos that's going on around me. And whether I put on a happy face or not, I was suppressing how I was feeling. If I was mad with somebody, I considered how they would feel if I told them that I was mad. So now I'm suppressing my emotions. If I'm sad about something, I didn't want anybody around me to know that I was sad. So now I either got to go in the bathroom or go sit in my car or walk away to deal with my emotions. Unhealthy as crap. There's nothing healthy about suppressing your emotions, because when they eventually come out, they spill out in so many different ways, most of them negative, to where you are misunderstood by those around you once you finally break. Oh God, Ebony crazy. She around here hollering and screaming and crying. What's wrong with her? Not knowing something's been wrong for months, days, weeks. And because I'm sparing your feelings, I didn't know how to deal with my own. And that happened to me because I've had so many people along the way tell me, you're too aggressive, or you talk too hard to this one, or you're this, or you're that. So now I'm trying to change parts of who I am to accommodate everybody else. And in our world, that's unrealistic. In Texopolis, it was okay until Gene grouped up with some other emojis that were struggling with their identity and struggling with who they were and what they needed to go through. Gene teamed up with them, and then they all realized that in order to help this little boy that they were assigned to, in order to get into the queue and to be able to do their job, they all had to learn. Okay, y'all, because I was trying to make sure my fan wasn't too much, but I need my fan. In order to learn how to help this little boy tap into his emotions, they had to learn who they were. And Gene's parents eventually fell in love, and they started to change, and they became the emoji with the hearts and all these different things. But it wasn't until they watched their son struggle with being one way, having one emotion all the time. Guys, to your own self, be true. When you're angry, and we're going to do a segment on anger management. When you're angry, there are healthy ways to express your anger. There are positive ways to communicate it to the people that you're angry with. There are calming techniques to do until you can calm down and actually try to figure out what you're angry for. I woke up this morning mad with Hewlett Packard because my HP is Instant Ink and my printer wasn't reading to my computer and I couldn't print and I had deadlines and things I needed to meet. So I'm mad at something I could not control. But for the first time in my life, I was careful not to take that anger out on the sessions that I had today. You know, the people I worked with today had no idea that I was angry or frustrated. Or maybe I was more frustrated than angry. But either way, you know, when I conversated with my husband, he knew the frustration because I'm sharing it with him, but I didn't take it out on him. And I've done that in the past because I didn't know how to be true to what I was feeling. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to be frustrated. To your own self, be true. But understand what you're mad at. Understand what you're frustrated about. Understand what you're sad about. And then tap into your support system and make sense of it. How do I approach it? What do I do? The older I get, the less patient I am. So I'm having to do exercises to learn to be more patient with others. Because remember, like I told you guys in an earlier episode, in order for people to be where I am, they have to catch up in order to keep up. But I shouldn't expect anybody to be where I am because everybody is running their own individual race. So I have to learn what your pace is, especially as a manager and or a leader. I have to learn what works for everybody that I'm leading. So when I say, let's go, I'm speaking in your language and you know to follow me. Because if I say, let's go, I want everybody to come on. I'm going to look back for you and I'm going to reach back for you. And if you're distracted, I'm going to bring you back in. But I need for you to understand that it's time to move. So you can't let your emotions keep you down either. And in depression, this is so common and it's something that we really have to work on within ourselves. When we're depressed, we can get in a state of just laying around for hours doing absolutely nothing. And this ain't something I read in one of these good books I got back here. This is something that I have experienced. And before you know it, time has gotten away from you. We have to learn how to pick ourselves up and do what it is that we need to do and sort out and plan times for what we're feeling. And that's right. You can schedule a time to be depressed. Write it down. I got to work 8 hours a day. So within these 8 hours, I cannot allow this depression to get to me. So when I feel it, I need to start doing this. Schedule the anxiety and the worry, because if you're worried about it, ain't nothing you can do about it anyway. All right, I got to work for 6 hours. I got to take these kids where they need to go. I got to cook this meal. I got to get it together so that I can live and maintain. So I'm going to worry about whatever between 6 and 6:30. Schedule it. And I know some of you may be like, this girl says schedule when you're going to be depressed and schedule when you're going to deal with your anxiety. But I guarantee you, if you try it, it will work. Because the minute that you start worrying about something, you're going to remind yourself that's not on my schedule. Right now, I have to do this. Because if I don't do this, I'm going to have something else to schedule to worry about. I'm going to have something else to be depressed about because then I ain't going to have no job. Or I'm not going to get my degree. Or I'm not going to make it through school. Or I'm not going to get my kids where they need to be. Or I'm not going to be able to do whatever it is that you were getting ready to start worrying about. And so like Jean, you know, sometimes you will be like, nah, whatever. I don't feel like it. It's okay. My biggest problem was suppressing, and suppressing is a fancy word for I'm going to be upset and mad later because I don't want whoever's around me to be upset and mad now. I want them to be okay. So I'm going to forfeit how I'm supposed to feel. The devil. Man, if I knew now, and I ain't even gonna say if I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, because I knew it then, I just didn't apply it. That's real talk. I've always known that what I was doing was not good for me. I've always been selfless to a sense. But sometimes it's okay to be selfish. We're taught that we shouldn't be selfish. But if I give away every bit of what I got and I don't keep nothing for me, and all the people that came and took, don't give me nothing back, man, the devil yet again. You gotta do what you need to do in order to make it through your day. There are times that you can fall apart. It's okay to fall apart. That's human. Get it out. Do you guys know that when we cry, not only do we release pressure and release emotional stress and emotional strain on us, you release toxins out of your body. Crying, being sad, it's an emotion. Go through it. Stop fighting it. It's how we were created to be. I wasn't created to be the person that spares everybody else's feelings. And I'm telling you, when I'm upset, I go below the belt and reach for the jugular. Because I done held on to it for so long. It ain't good, but it's the truth. It's real talk. Man, I use some words and say some stuff and tear you all the way down and still love you with my whole heart. But I just didn't understand how to tell you 2 weeks ago that you hurt my feelings, or 2 years ago that you made me mad. That's crazy. Marriages break up because you don't know how to communicate. Families fall apart because you don't know how to communicate. Businesses fail because you don't know how to communicate your feelings. We got to learn. And like Gary, he was fighting it. Gary saw something funny and they look at him like, what you laughing for? Well, it was funny to me, but you're not supposed to be able to feel that emotion. Guys, we feel all of those emotions. We're supposed to. We were designed to. And so today, I want you to start doing some soul searching. To thine own self be true. But you gotta learn what you're being true to. Who are you? Remember to ask Alice that? Who are you? Well, dang, I don't even know no more. Well, get somewhere and sit down and figure it out. Because in order for you to be true to yourself, you got to figure out who you are now. And who you are today is not who you were yesterday, last year, last month. So don't let nobody make you feel like you're still that person. You're not. Everybody changes, whether it's for the good or for the bad, or if it's a stagnant change. Everybody changes and has the ability to change in whatever capacity that you want to change. Don't let nobody control you. You're not a puppet. And you don't need a puppet master. You are a creation. You are a chosen creation. You were made to be you. And then your mold was broken. So find out who you are. Don't be who they tried to make you be. Now, I don't know if y'all know about Jim Jones back in the 70s. He was a preacher and he had a gift of gab. Jim Jones did some stuff and these people saw that Jim Jones was a fake and a fraud. But his words, his gift of gab was so powerful, they followed him anyway. drunk Kool-Aid and took their life. The Heaven's Gate cult back over in California in the 90s. That man was dressed like a little alien and had them ball, them same tennis shoes. And y'all remember them people drunk that stuff and covered up in them sheets over there and took their life. All because they were weak. They were not true to themselves. You gotta get this. Just because the people said it don't make it true. Study to show thyself approved. That's a verse in the Holy Bible. And I'm pretty sure it's in any other, religious or spiritual book or something that you've heard. You gotta know it for yourself. And when you don't understand, seek your higher power. Go to your support network. Holler at your girl. We'll run through it together. We'll figure it out together. But do not just go off the word of a Jim Jones, because it's a modern day Jim Joneses out there that's feeding people, the same Kool-Aid, and some of y'all drinking it. And I can honestly say, for a couple of years of my life, I was sipping on the Kool-Aid too. Knew better. But I take a swallow here and there. Man, not no more. If I don't make the Kool-Aid, I don't want it. To thine own self be true. You matter. You matter to me. You matter to your family. You matter to your job. You matter to your community. You matter to your pet. You matter. But if you don't matter to you, nothing else will matter. So as we start this journey into self-awareness, self-care, finding out who we are today, I want to encourage you to take some time, check out the Emoji Movie. It's on Netflix, I know, under the kids section. But check that movie out and watch it from a standpoint of because the animation is funny. It's a pretty good movie. But listen to those words, take notes, and figure out how to thine own self to be true. Please continue to subscribe if you're new. Please share, like, comment, tell me some things you want to talk about. But just know, these next 2 weeks, we're taking out October with self-care and self-awareness. And we definitely want to take a minute to, acknowledge those that have survived breast cancer, those that we've lost to breast cancer, with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We love you guys. And we just want to continue to go through our uncharted waters and figure this thing out, because we have so much work to do on ourselves, I guarantee you, to keep you from worrying about what Missy Mary and Missy Marvin got going on out there. You gotta learn how to be true to yourself. And I'm here to help you get through it. Hope you come back. Bring a friend. And let's get this word out. I'm still working to get to Coach. I'm still trying to get up with Lil Wayne, Lil Tunechi, because we're going to be looking at some of his music this week. But I want you guys to just stay focused on yourself. Get up, look in that mirror every day, and whatever words you need to speak life into yourself, speak them. Because it does us an injustice to speak life into other people, and we can't speak it into ourselves. So, all right, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one. And thank you so much for stopping by and having this real talk conversation with me.